She saw what Nora looked like and decided.
I'm a trendsetter, me and the
Yes.
first lady.
So, we'll turn it over to the expert. And
So
we-
I thought, since it would probably be everybody's expectation that there would be some music, since I am a Bradbury, I wanted to start with a little song that I often use for youth ministry gatherings. Dad, you're gonna pick. Oh no, I got it. I'm sort of famous or infamous among my youth group kids for not having a pick. I actually got this. But one of my girls one year bought me a necklace that you could keep a pick in. Because it would come to prayer time in youth group and I'd say, does anybody have a pick? And I would play with, library cards or credit cards or, a quarter. That doesn't sound as good. So we're going to sing a song called Open My Eyes. It's by Jesse Manibusan. If any of you have ever gotten to hear him, he's a wonderful speaker and musician who does a lot of the national conferences. And the words to this are so easy, there's no excuse not to sing. One of my youth ministry mentors was Father Dave Mura, and he used to do family camp and teen retreats when I was in high school and college. And he would say about singing that if you have a lousy voice, it's no excuse not to sing. If God gave you a lousy voice, then clearly God meant for you to sing lousily. And there's a couple reasons for that. One reason is because it makes the good singer sing louder to drown you out. And it's a nice little, passive-aggressive opportunity to sort of see what you did to me, God. Here's the voice that I have. So, but it's all for the praise and glory of God. So the words are, open my eyes, Lord, help me to see your face. Open my eyes, Lord, help me to see. And then the progressive verses are, open my ears, help me to hear. Oh, do you know this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just sing it. I don't even have to teach it. Yeah, what book are you guys using these days? Glory and Praise, okay. Open my eyes, Lord. Help me to see your face. Open my eyes, Lord. Help me to see. Open my ears, help me to hear your voice. Open my ears, Lord. Help me to hear your voice. Open my ears, Lord. Help me to hear. Reach now if you know it, sing along. And the first shall be last, and our eyes are open, and we'll hear like never before. And we'll speak in new ways, and we'll see God's face in places we never known. Open my heart. Open my heart, Lord. Help me to love like you. Open my heart, Lord. Help me to Singing really
Choir practice is on Mondays.
Were you listening? Did you hear? I'm going to scooch this up just a little bit more. This kind of music stand is nice because if you don't have the sinking scenario, if you've ever had one of those where you put a heavy book on and you start playing and then you're like, oh no, oh no. But it's a thing that's there we go. Okay. I've also reached an age where the glasses are often adjusted. So first I just wanted to start out with a little bit of gratitude and say how good it is to be here with you. Most of you know, many of you know from the promotions. My mom says, I'm talking to her on the phone this afternoon, I wanted to make sure she knew about the date change. She said, yeah, there's been a big buildup. No pressure, you know. But no, I grew up here. My family moved up here from New Jersey when I was 5, and I remember when we pulled in the parking lot here, you know, where we had lived in New Jersey, there were a lot of traditional, you know, sort of immigrant churches, the German and the Irish and kind of Gothic style churches. When we pulled in the parking lot, and I was like, that's the church? It looks like a Chinese restaurant. But the number of Sunday mornings I spent standing on that altar and leading music and seeing that gorgeous, gorgeous stained glass, the burning bush. I will always feel very strongly and fondly for St. Mary's, now St. Max's. I think I started singing in the folk group when I was 8, and I think I got the job of standing at the microphone and saying, "Good morning, please stand and join us in number 390 in your hymnal," when I was 9 or 10. And so, you know, this is really home for me. This is the parish that sent me on teen retreats, and the parish where we had masses in people's homes. Names like Jerry and Lee Scarrett and Mona Matuzzi, and you know, we would go on these awesome diocesan teen retreats, and then come home to Bob and Lana Lashorn's house for a youth group every week. And so I'm here because of good youth ministry and strong community and incredible models. And so thank you, St. Mary's. I've been in ministry since I was 19. I did parish youth ministry for 27 years in several parishes in the diocese. I did a short stint in the bishop's office, 2 years, which was great, but enough. I loved having a voice at that level of the conversation. And it was so inspiring to be at that point. It's easy sometimes to be in parish work and feel like you're there alone, just kind of slogging along. And one of the really wonderful things about our diocese and our diocesan organization is to be there at that level and just see all the people doing this incredible work, this incredible ministry across our diocese. And we really do have just amazing people in the parishes. We have beautiful parishes. We have really incredible people in ministry. So I did that for 27 years. Just about a year and a half ago, I started working for St. Mary's Press as an editor. If you have a copy of the Catholic Youth Bible, you have one of theirs. I had written for them in the past, and they had asked me out on a consultation job. They were working on a new confirmation program. After I got back home, they're based in Minnesota. After I got back home, I got a call from the man who had been my editor for my other projects. And he's like, "It was great having you out here, Nora. So great, in fact. We'd like to talk to you about coming to work for us full time." And leaving my parish, leaving my kids is, you know, just sort of heart-rending. But the opportunity to kind of move into that national scene and have a voice there, and be able to produce resources for young people, you know, across the country was really, it was such an exciting opportunity and has proven to be just a really fruitful and exciting journey so far. The confirmation program that they called me out to work on, and this is kind of the world that we're moving into, it's called Called to Mercy, but it's a digital confirmation program. So brace yourselves. The kids do the lessons on their phones or other devices on tablets. And then the piece that I worked on was writing the gathered sessions for when those kids come together, so that when they come together, their time isn't spent on content, there's time spent on community building, on prayer and worship, on service, and all those things that are so important in building up our young people. So it's exciting to be part of a company that's doing those kinds of things, and St. Mary's Press is all about the kids. They're a mission of the Christian Brothers, and John Baptiste de La Salle is the founder of that order, and well, I could talk about him a lot more, but that's not why you brought me here. So when I started in youth ministry, really the only qualifications for youth ministry were you should probably have a van, and you should probably have a guitar, and it doesn't hurt to have a beard. I had none of those three things at the time.
You had been a youth.
I had been a youth, yes. The word on the street at the time, actually statistically speaking, youth ministers at that point lasted as long as their sneakers. So about a year and a half, and most youth ministry people burned out at that point. I don't know if there's something wrong with me, that I just wasn't smart enough to leave. No, but it really, it was stunning to me what an incredible match for everything I had learned here growing up. All through high school, I worked at Casey Park, everyday camp counselor, and I'd done all that teen retreat work, and I went to Nazareth College and met the incredible women religious who are so active there, even still, even though they're not officially a Catholic university anymore. Those sisters, the Sisters of St. Joseph, are still causing trouble all over campus there in the best ways. So, so in so many ways, without knowing that that's where I was headed, I ended up in youth ministry. And I did last. I started out at St. Augustine's in the city, which was just such a good place to start in ministry. My office was in the basement because that's always where the youth minister's office was. There isn't a basement.
There was, and I was down there.
Okay,
Yes.
so.
Then I got promoted to a wall climb.
St. Philip Neri Hall, was that that? Okay, yeah, I
Yeah, we
remember.
painted the walls, we did a lot of things, that was gorgeous down there for a while.
Yeah, so I had a basement office. Right next door to me was a man who had been homeless, a Jamaican man. His name was Noel. And he lived in the room next door to my office. Next door to that was the food pantry, the Southwest Ecumenical Ministries food pantry. That's over in the 19th ward there. And then our pastor, Father Bill Trott, was, he had sort of filled the house with all kinds of different people in need. People who needed a place to stay, people recovering from addictions. Every night there was a different meeting in every nook or cranny of the rectory. And so it was a really incredible place to start. It gave me a grounding in social justice that never left me. One of the things that Father Bill talked about a lot was how Dorothy Day was a guiding saint for him, and how important her ideas about greeting each person who comes to the door as if they were Christ himself. And you could see him do it. He did it all the time. If somebody came to the door and they needed food, they got food. If they were in some other kind of trouble, he did his best to help them with that. If they showed up and they were drunk, he sat down and waited with them until they were sober enough to eat and made them a meal. I'm getting goosebumps talking to it. I mean, he was a living saint. And I just feel really privileged that was, accidentally or on purpose, where I ended up in my first youth ministry job. So I've been doing that for 27 years. I did the writing of St. Mary's Press. I'm going to do a shameless plug right now for my book, The Freshman Survival Guide. I had done some writing for a website called BustedHalo.com, just kind of an edgier website aimed at the spiritual but not necessarily religious, and the Paulist Fathers sponsor that. So Busted Halo, you can see their logo down here. I've been writing for them for a while, and we have been writing an article based on a retreat that I would do with my high school seniors where we brought the college kids back. I watched so many kids crash and burn that first semester, first year of college, which these days is a very expensive mistake for an 18 or 19-year-old to have to carry around. And And so we started doing this retreat. I was doing the writing for the website. We said, hey, this, let's turn this into an article. It was very popular with campus ministers. And then just before we started to write the book in earnest, my co-author and I did an interview for the website called God on Campus. And it sounds like a joke when I say it, but we actually did this interview and it was a serious thing. There was a priest, a rabbi, a Protestant minister, and an imam. And so we just talked about, what are your concerns for your young people of faith? And we found out that we all had the same concerns. So as we began to write the book, up to that point in the articles, we had talked to Catholic chaplains, we had talked to campus ministers, we had talked to Newman communities, but now we pushed that out. And so we have Buddhist chaplains, and we have rabbis, and we have Sikhs, and we have imams quoted throughout the book, talking about how to take good care of your whole self in college. There's a lot of books about how to be successful in college, and then there's a whole set of books about how to be a Christian in college. Many of them say just hang out with other Christians and nobody else and you'll be fine. But that's not really how Catholics do things. Catholics are elbows in and mixing it up with the world. And so it really made sense that we would do this way. This is the second edition of the book, the blue version, if you've followed the book at all. Did so nicely that they asked us to do a second edition, and it ended up on Letterman. Much to our amazement, I got a call at midnight or a text from one of my college kids saying, "Your book's on Letterman!" I was like, "What?" And so we didn't know it was going to happen, and it was just one of those really, really incredible things. But the thing that's so thrilling to me about the book doing well is I think it's a real affirmation of the approach that we took, which is to say, young people today are as spiritual as they've ever been, and they have that same hunger that every other